What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today we have an unboxing of the brand new Apple Mac Mini, which is super mini this time. It is always exciting to see redesign, and this one has not seen a redesign since 2010. We've seen the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, as well as the release of the Mac Studio, the new iMacs, but it is finally time for the Mac Mini to have its turn, and I feel like it has a really good place in the lineup as a very powerful entry-level Apple computer that you can either use with a studio display, XDR display, or any monitor that you already have, while being able to take advantage of Apple's latest lineup of chip technology, the M4, at a starting price point of $599. And I just think it is such an incredible value. I also just unboxed the M4 MacBook Pro on the channel as well with a nano texture display. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, go ahead and visit the channel after you finish watching this video, and also drop a like, subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all of the new Apple product unboxings as soon as they're out. So taking a look at this little cube, I mean, it is impressive. It is essentially like smaller than the length of iPhone mini, and this little cube box here says Mac Mini, just all the way around it. So it's a fun little dice that you could spin around. And the one that I have in front of me is the 16 gigabytes of unified memory, which is the base, and 512 gigabytes of internal SSD. Funny enough, in my workflow back in the day, I actually did use a Mac Mini as a main editing computer for a while, and I self-upgraded the RAM, the SSD, and it was a pretty trusty computer for quite a few years. Just slide that up here. And there you have the Mac Mini itself. This is just so impressively thin and light. And what I see as a use case is, even though it is nice to have a desktop computer that is really portable, most people aren't going to be bringing it around everywhere with you. But with this, you do have the option of doing that. Say you're on the field, maybe traveling, and you want to be able to use a computer with a monitor and you don't have a MacBook, then this is a perfect scenario for that. So let's just go ahead and slide this off here. And I mean, this just looks incredible. I love how it still has like that retained design, relatively slim. It is just kind of like a smaller but fatter version of the Mac Mini. Other things that included in the box, pretty simple. You have a power cable, and that is pretty much it. But let's just go ahead and set this aside and talk more about the actual form factor. It is 5x5 in dimension, and actually when the original M1 Mac Mini was released, that was actually my most viewed video from that lineup, and so there is still a huge market of people who are just looking for a reliable desktop Apple Silicon computer. So before I talk more about the amazing new Mac Mini and what it does for creators, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, Gamma, and their AI-powered platform that helps users create web pages, documents, and presentations in just seconds with no design or coding skills required. Gamma is a new way of presenting ideas, and think of it as a cross of Notion and Canva, which are two platforms that I currently use quite regularly. It is in essence an AI design partner, and you can go ahead and type in any prompts or guidelines, and you have access to the best-in-class AI for text, images, and search, and apply eye-catching and expert-level designs and layouts. You can add interactive galleries, embed content into your ideas, visualizations with charts, diagrams, and tables for statistics and numbers. And you can also take advantage of a versatile set of pre-integrated templates to choose what theme that you're looking for. But what I really liked is that I was able to just go ahead and type in different prompts to be able to revise and refine my final product pretty easily. It also has seamless integration by allowing you to import previous documents and presentations easily into Gamma, paste text from any source, and export to PDF and PowerPoint instantly. As someone who is just kind of dipping my toes into utilizing AI, I feel like Gamma is a really good gateway because it takes something that I do on a pretty regular basis, speeds it up, and gives me a better final result. So it is essentially a no-brainer. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, I'm going to leave a link on screen and in the description section below. And a huge thanks to Gamma for sponsoring this video. So when it comes to some of the other details, let's start with the exterior. On the front, you have two USB Type-C ports, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack, and over to the back, you have 3 Thunderbolt ports. On the M4 model, you have a Thunderbolt 4, which has 40 gigabit per second bandwidth. And if you upgrade to the M4 Pro model, you have Thunderbolt 5, which is 3 times the bandwidth. I believe I use 4 Thunderbolt ports on my Mac Studio because I have 2 RAID drives, as well as a card reader, SSDs and all that, as well as the XDR displays. I feel like most people are going to be perfectly fine with the 3 Thunderbolt ports, and you also have a full-size HDMI gigabit port and your power. So pretty standard, self-explanatory there. And when it comes to the M4 chip, this is something that we first saw introduced on the iPad Pro lineup. The base is 16 gigabytes, and for a price point of $599, I think that is an incredible value. For what you're getting, 8 gigabytes was actually pretty good for most people who are doing like admin work and day-to-day, but I feel like 16 is where you have quite a bit of breathing room and can do like video editing and rely on the computer for that. And it comes with a 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU, and for those who are upgrading from the M1, I believe it is 1.8 times faster, and so that is going to be a pretty significant jump to a computer that was already something that impressed me from the beginning. And you can spec it all the way up to 32 gigabytes of unified memory on the base M4 model and up to 2 terabytes of storage, whereas on the M4 Pro, it starts at 24 gigabytes of unified memory, and you can go all the way up to 64 gigabytes. And that features a 14-core CPU and a 20-core GPU, which is 2 times more powerful than the M4, and you can go all the way up to 8 terabytes of unified memory. The price point for that is $1,400, which for those who are looking for a lot of performance out of a Mac Mini, that is a pretty good value still, but from there, you're starting to consider the price territory of the Mac Studio, and I think that just highlights how good of a value the base model is across the entire Apple lineup at the moment when it comes to the M4 chips, but also on the M3 on the MacBook Air, where they've increased the unified memory to 16 gigabytes up from 8 at no additional cost. When it comes to the actual size difference compared to the Mac Mini, here is a look at it, and I mean, very impressive. I love the fact that it has just been condensed, and even though, as I mentioned, it doesn't really matter if your desktop computer takes up less space, it is nice that you have some room for some other toys as a result of that freed up space. So that is a side-by-side look of the new Mac Mini compared to the original Mac Mini from the original 2010 design. I mean, the size of this kind of rivals the Apple TV a bit more, which from a capability standpoint, this obviously does so much more. The only really design complaint that I have seen is the little power button being located on the bottom, but honestly, I don't have too big of an issue with that. Yes, they probably could have figured out how to like place it on the back corner here, but once you sort of know where it is once or twice, you just go ahead and press the button on the back, and I honestly never turn off my computer. So for me, it is not a really big issue. But otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll definitely be using this computer around the office in some of our studio setups, and as a user of the Studio Display, and one that I recommend everyone to get because of the color accuracy, how nicely designed it is, and also at the price points that I've seen it at secondhand. I believe the ultimate setup is having this with the Studio Display, and as I said, I think it is an incredible value. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.